Hello, Lisa Strickland here, your autoimmune health coach. How are you today? So today we are going to make a beautiful dairy-free potato bake. Okay, so this is a really tasty recipe. It is great for dinners and, Christmas dinner. It adds to all of those lovely other dishes that you have and that you create when you're bringing together a beautiful dinner party. So, first of all, what we're going to do is, I have already cut most of the potatoes, but I'm going to show you what I've been doing. Now, you can use a mandolin or you can use a kitchen whiz if you'd like, and just cut them fairly fine. But I am quite happy to, because this is cooked for a bit, so I'm just slicing down these. So you can do it this way if you prefer, or if you don't have those kitchen whiz, not everybody has a food processor like that. So it's not, you don't have to miss out just because you don't have the appliances. So, you're making them fairly thin. Okay, so I'll roll that the other side. It makes it easier as you're getting closer to the end of it. Okay, and then the one last one I always do like this. Okay, actually didn't do a bad job on that. Okay, so always cut away from you. It's a big thing, especially when you're teaching your children to cook, because they tend to want to cut towards them. All right, so I'm just going to peel my garlic. Okay, so we've got a few different things going on here. I've got garlic, shallots, some thyme, some sage, some nutmeg, some salt, and to give it a little bit of a cheesy flavour, just a small amount of savoury yeast flakes is always good too. Okay, there we are. And we've got a couple of bay leaves as well. All right, so the first thing we're going to do is, I have soaked half a cup of cashews. Now you can do it overnight if you think about it. If you don't, that's fine. Just pop it in before you start preparing the rest of the recipe. And that's really, if you've got a high-speed blender, that's enough time, So I'm just going to tip the water out. All right, we're going to pop it in the blender, and then we're going to add 2 cups of soy milk. Okay. If you prefer to use almond milk, you can. Now the cashews give it a really nice flavour. Okay, really makes it nice and smooth. Okay. I'm just going to blend that up. Alright, we check. I like to check to make sure that just a wee bit more. No, you want it to be creamy, you don't want to have bits, Okay, so that should be fine. All right, so I'm going to take that out. All right, I'm just going to move that over there and bring this forward. There we go. And we're going to take the lid off, and we're going to pop that into the pot. Yum yum. And we are going to turn that on, and we're going to add everything to it. Okay, so we're going to put in the savoury yeast flakes, the nutmeg, to just press these while it's heating up. I'm going to use a garlic press to put that garlic in. I'm not a big one for slicing it, I prefer it broken down. Okay. Right over there. And then 2. So if you like to make it garlicky, you can put a bit more than 2 in. I prefer to stick to about 2 because I like flavour. I don't need it to overpower everything. So we've got 2 bay leaves here that I'm popping in. Then we have, I've chopped up, I've got some fresh sage and thyme out of my garden and chopped that all up. And we'll just throw in our shallots. Okay. So we're heating this up because when you do that, you're putting lots of flavour through everything, okay? Now, I also need a bit of pepper. So pepper and salt, really, really important part of, you know, actually getting that beautiful flavours through everything. It really does assist. Alright, so we're going to turn it down a bit. I'm just going to heat it through. You don't want it to be catching because I'm already feeling, gee, that was really quick. So you've got to be really careful with it and make sure it doesn't stick, okay? It's pretty quick in catching at the bottom. Alright, now we're going to heat those up. So I am also going to add the potatoes in. Okay everybody, so I've preset the oven to 180 degrees and preheated it, and we are just about ready with our potatoes here. Okay, so you stir them, make sure they're not catching on the bottom. You don't want the potatoes catching. Okay, so we're about right there, so I'm going to turn that off and push it back slightly so we can move a bit more. Alright, so what we're going to do is I have my container here that I do my potato bake in, and we are going to very slowly and carefully put it into here, okay? So we do need to be very cautious because you don't want to splash yourself, okay? Alright. And just to give you an understanding, like I was stirring it, but you can still see, because it's a creamy based thing, it will catch quite easily. So you do need to keep an eye on it, and you need to make sure you keep the heat down, okay? So really, it's one of those things that you just have to watch. Alright, so I actually forgot, there's 1 bay leaf, and might have to, here it is. Might have to have a dig for the other bay leaf. That was unfortunate, wasn't it? I forgot to take that out. You do these silly things when you're cooking. Oh, there she is, found her. Good job, they're nice and big, isn't it? All right, bay leaf number 2. So, that tastes great. So always taste it for salt, tastes great for salt. All right, so you just flatten it up as much as you like. With potato bake, I don't mind too much. Like, it's going to be uneven. Now, if you want to, you can stick a bit of vegan cheese on top. I actually don't want to. What I am going to do though is, and this gives it a really nice look and also a nice flavour, okay, is we're going to sprinkle it with a bit of smoky paprika, okay? That gives it a lovely colour on top, and also just puts some really nice, you know, that really nice smell of smokiness. I'm a bit of a big fan of smoky paprika. I use it for a lot of things, but where this is concerned, it gives it a little bit more flavour, a bit stronger flavour, and I love smokiness. It also gives it a really nice look on top. All right, you can put it on. If you don't want it, that's fine. You can put as little or as much as you like. And so what I'm going to do with that is I don't need to put alfoil on it because this container actually has a lid. I do need to wipe down though. Just wipe these corners down so things don't stick and burn. Okay. All right, so I'll do that, and then I'm going to stick it into my oven at 180 degrees. And it will cook there for 20 minutes. Okay, now we are at about 15 minutes or so, so I'm just going to take this out. All right, take the lid off. Now you just want to use a fork and just pop it through. Yep, that's looking pretty well cooked. But what we're going to do now is pop it back in without the lid on to brown off the top. Okay, and give it, you know, a good 5 minutes or so until it's nice and brown on top. Okay, everybody, let's get this out of the oven. So, there we have our beautiful potato bake, all ready for us to cut and eat. So let's do this. Okay. All right. Let's see how we go here. It's always the most difficult, isn't it, for this, the first slice, but let's get this out, especially after you've just cooked it. Oh. So potato bake's usually better if you leave it just for a little bit before you cut it. Okay, but that's okay because it tastes just the same, just as good when whether it's taken apart or it's still in the square. So there you go. There's a beautiful potato bake that will go really well at any dinner party.